Alright, we are going to be comparing whole numbers in this video. There's a couple of problems on your choice board this week that have to do with comparing whole numbers. So when I compare whole numbers, I like to use a place value chart to help me. So I'm going to draw one first. I'm going to start with the decimal, and I'm not going to bother with the tenths and the hundredths just now. So we'll put decimal. Decimal right there, and then we have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, the 10,000s, you guys still see this all right? Yeah. Okay, we'll do like two more. The 100,000s. And do we have place for the millions? Yeah, it'll be tight, but we have space. Millions. Okay, so we need two numbers. So we're just gonna write out two numbers here. Let's see. How about 25,000? Let's see. 25,346. All right, so that's one number. Notice I put it in the place value chart where it would go. And a decimal isn't actually a placeholder, it's just a thing right here. We'll just put the decimal right there. And then we'll do another number. How about, let's see, 43,017. Okay, so we have two numbers here. And the first thing I do when I'm comparing numbers is that I look to see what is the farthest place value that it goes to. If I had one number, let's say just for example's sake, that this was really 143,017. Well, that one would actually go to the 100,000s place. And my other number, 25,346, only goes to the 10,000s place. So without even really looking at any of the other numbers over here, I can already see I've got a 1 in the 100,000s, and there's really a 0 here in the 100,000s for 25,000. Nothing is here. So I don't even really need to look at the rest of it to know, oh, 1 bigger than 0, it's already, this one is already bigger. However, if there was no 0 in the 100,000s, and I had, sorry, someone was at the door, and I just had 25,000 and 43,000, I would then go look at the next biggest place value. So 4 versus a 2, and we know that this is really 40,000 and 20,000, but we can still think, okay, is 4 bigger than 2? Well, yes, so then our 43,017 would have to be bigger. Remember, I always look at the biggest place value first. The smallest one wouldn't really help because you're right, this is the 7 is bigger than the 6, but does that necessarily mean that there's a bigger number over here? Not so much. Let's say, let me erase some of this for just a second. Here, I'll erase the 4. Let's say now we have 25,346 versus 3,017. So I can, if I were to compare the ones place, if I were to be like, well, when I add and subtract, I start with the ones place. So when I compare numbers, I should start with the ones place. And I were to say, well, 7 is bigger than 6, then would that be accurate? This is 3,000 versus 5,000 versus 25,000. Is that actually bigger? I don't think so. No, it's not. So you need to start with your biggest place value and then work your way backwards. Let's give it one more example here. Let's say instead of a 4, we had a 2 right here. All right. So I'm looking at the biggest place value first because this is the 10,000s, and I notice, wait, they're both the same. I have a 2 in the 10,000s and a 2 in the 10,000s. Are they both the same number? Well, probably not. We need to go to the next smallest place value and then look at that. So now I'm looking in the thousands place. I'm thinking, okay, so I've got a 3,000 versus 5,000. Well, 5 is bigger than 3, which means that 25 must be bigger than 23, right? I'm looking at both of those now. So I can tell that way. And then I can keep going. If this one instead was 25,000, for example, I have to go look at the next smallest place value and compare those two. So start from the biggest and work your way back to find where you got the biggest one from.